When life gets unpredictable, preparation matters. In medicine, it's all about staying alert, ready for whatever comes through the door. On the road, it's no different. That's why Volvo designs vehicles to help anticipate risk, reduce harm, and protect lives. The Volvo XC90's advanced safety systems inspire confident decisions wherever the road takes you. The Volvo XC90, for life. Proud sponsor of the Pit Podcast. Learn more at volvocars.ca/safety.
On a need-to-know basis, he's got you covered. Elias Mackos, CJAD 800.
You need help from the city with your recycling, you call 311. You need help with healthcare, you call 811. Oh boy, if it's an emergency, you call 911. What do you do if it's a mental health emergency? You've got a mental health crisis. Well, a new 3-digit telephone number will be available to Canadians in need of mental health and suicide prevention. The number will be put in place by November of 2023. Todd Doherty, Member of Parliament for Cariboo, Prince George in British Columbia. He's the MP that introduced the motion back in 2020, which received unanimous approval in the House. Just learning this week that the CRTC is all for this measure. Todd Doherty joins us on the line. Mr. Doherty, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Elias. It's good to be here.
First off, let's start talking about how tough of a slog this has been, right? You introduced this motion a while back, and tell me about the challenges and the hurdles and how this finally happened.
Well, we've been actually working on this since my first private member's bill, C-211, passed in 2018. That made Canada the first country in the world to adopt, to really take on post-traumatic stress disorder and mental health issues that frontline first responders and veterans in our military have. And we started working with that, working with colleagues across down in the U.S. as well. And there were a couple ladies, a young girl by the name of Maddie Mugridge, who started a petition to bring 988 to Canada, and a lady by the name of Kathleen Finley, who actually was also trying to push to bring 988 to Canada. So it's been, it's been over 4 years, but it was over 600 days ago that parliamentarians of all political stripes stood unanimously and supported bringing 988 to Canada just before our Christmas break in 2020. And it's just been an emotional ride in the last 48 hours for sure. And the messages that we're getting from Canadians from all across and people in the U.S. as well too, that have lost loved ones here in Canada, that are just thankful that we're moving forward. And we're still 14 months away from the November 30th of 2023 live date. So it's been a push.
Tell me about the 988 number and how it'll work and just what it's for. Tell of our listeners what the 988 will do.
Yeah, just as your intro, when we are in a crisis, when Canadians are in a crisis, we know it intuitively. We know if we dial 911, there will be a calm and caring voice on the other end that can connect us to police, fire, or ambulance. And help is really only minutes away, or it should be. This is no different. Acts very similar. We know that there are crisis lines and there are suicide prevention lines across our country, and there are so many different numbers. And we want to make sure that if there is somebody that is in a mental health crisis, or if they are struggling, that they don't have to go to Google or go to a Rolodex or a phone book to try and find that 10-digit number that's live in their area. The 988 will just roll off the tongue. It's intuitive. And we know that in an emergency, whether it's a mental health emergency or another emergency crisis, that just having a simple 3-digit number that is just intuitive and it just rolls off the fingers and off the brain, and it's easy to remember.
We are with Todd Doherty, he's Member of Parliament for the Cariboo Prince George riding in BC, has led the charge here to a new 3-digit telephone number, 988, that we'll see in Canada as of November 2023 for mental health crisis and suicide prevention intervention. So, Mr. Doherty, I got to ask you, why did you take this up? What led you to be a face and a voice in this fight?
You know, Elias, I lost my best friend when I was 14 to suicide. I was the last one to see him, and even all these years, I have so many questions. I call them the if-onlys. And since that time, I've lost friends, I've lost family members, and I've done a lot of work. I did crisis intervention and suicide prevention in my early years, working with at-risk young adults and children, and it's really, you know, you can't help but feel a sense of guilt. Mm-hmm. That if only you saw the signs, if only you could relive that last moment that you were with your friend or your loved one, that you could tell them that you loved them and that our world was a better place. That they're in it, and I get emotional thinking about it because these family members and these families that have been left behind, they have trusted me with their stories. They have shared with me their pain, and they have all they wanted to ensure is that another family doesn't go through the same. And so as leaders, we need to do whatever we can to break down the barriers that, we truly see mental health in parity with physical health. And we do whatever we can to break that stigma so that if somebody is struggling, if somebody is hurting, that they know it's okay not to be okay. And that if they are at that point where they want to ask for help, that their help is readily available, and I think that is something that we strive for, whether it is a mental health or an addictions crisis, is that we want to make sure that people can get the help that they need when they need it, wherever they need it, and 988 will do that. I truly believe, as does the national organizations as well as the grassroots organizations. Elias, over 600 communities, big and small, passed motions in their city councils to bring 988 to Canada. Wow. This is supported by Canadians all across our beautiful country, and it's needed, and it will save lives. And the last, I'm sure you can tell I'm emotional just thinking about it now and talking about it. It will save lives. And, the last 48 days, it took a long time to get to this moment. But now's not a time to be partisan. Now's the time to make sure that November 30th of 2023 doesn't pass us by without 988 being live. And so that's the work that needs to be done now.
I have to wrap up with you, but I need to ask you this on the whole, because you touched me there on the notion of if only, right? Do we have an indication on that notion of if only? Do we have an indication from another jurisdiction that now has this type of number on just the lives that have been saved?
Yeah, so the U.S., our friends and our families down south, they have gone through the same 988 journey, and they launched their 988 number in July 16th of this year, and it's having overwhelming impacts. And it's going to save lives, and I just can't wait for this to be live. And I know you got to wrap up, but I had a message from a lady who lost her husband 2 months ago in June, and she said to me, if only this number was in place in June, maybe my kids would still have their father and I'd still have my husband. And so, these are the if onlys that kind of push us forward to make sure that we're breaking down the barriers and doing whatever we can to leave a legacy of action.
Certainly in the House of Commons, it seems like there is broad support, all the parties on this one, and the whole notion and the whole discussion about mental health. There's something changing in this country. I want to thank you for coming on. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Elias. Thank you for giving us the opportunity to talk about this.
That's Todd Doherty. So 988 should be in place by November of 2023. Todd Doherty is the Member of Parliament for Cariboo, Prince George in British Columbia.